Hello artists, welcome back. It's Wednesday, June 17th, 2020. It's our 38th day of drawing together. Yesterday I said it was our 36th. I was wrong. It was our 37th yesterday. Today is our 38th. So welcome back. Today we are going to look at what we drew yesterday. So I hope yesterday you drew something from your day. And I wanted to share with you what I drew. Remember, I was working on superhero Bronte, so I finished her a bit more and added her name there. That was prompt number 38. And then Zoe, and Zoe's got a bit of sass. Even at 2, she had a lot of sass. So there she is. I left her a little bit more incomplete. I like the rougher lines for her. And that gaze saying, kind of, who are you messing with, or don't mess with me, or I have absolute confidence. I'm not sure what those eyes and that pose meant, but something she still does today, has a lot of confidence for a young person. And then there's Bronte with her big sweet eyes. Okay, so today we are drawing an animal. I don't remember what prompt that was, but you'll find it on your list. And we're going to draw an animal. So I am going to draw my favorite animal, which is an armadillo. So I've got this armadillo here. I found him in Texas. He is from Oaxaca, Mexico. And the Oaxaca carvings of tiny animals or large animals are very colorful and painted vibrantly. So I love this little armadillo. He's got great little markings on him, and his tail is even painted. So I love to paint, put him right there. I love to paint and draw armadillos. And of course, you've probably never seen a green and blue armadillo, but I like to just play around with the image of armadillo. So that's what I'm going to do today. One thing I've talked about before is painter's tape. So I pulled out some painter's tape because I like to have a nice crisp border to play with when I work. So I'm going to lay out a border, and on my sketchbook here, I'm just going to lay it down really quickly. You can also draw a border like I did yesterday if you're interested in having borders. This is going to be a bit big for a border. Normally I'd make it a little bit smaller, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I wonder what animals you've drawn before and what animal you might be interested in drawing today, if that's the prompt you're going to work on. I'm going to tape this last one really quick. Now this is really fun, I think, to use a border when you're using watercolor. I'm not sure I'm using watercolor today, but I am going to draw an armadillo. I'm going to use my watercolor pencils, so my colored pencils that can be used as watercolor, and then I'll go back into it later to see what I might do to finish it. Okay, so I like creating a lot of animals in a really stylized way. And if you haven't used that word before or heard that word before in art, stylized means just really making it your own and adding some character to the, this is very stylized. It doesn't look like a real armadillo, right? But it gives it that impression of it. So really kind of, I'm going to work from my armadillo here too, because I like to use that form of armadillo. So I'm going to look at him here. Sometimes I like to draw armadillos standing on their tiptoes. If you saw my early videos, you saw that I created an armadillo puppet, that I sewed a puppet one time. So I really love armadillos. I think they're very cool creatures. One time, my uncle and my stepdad found one in Keeler, Wisconsin. They figure that it might have gotten up under a wheel well of a semi and then came maybe from Texas or somewhere in the south, and then it fell off the semi in Keeler. And so it wasn't doing very good when they saw it. But pretty interesting that they saw an armadillo all the way up here in Wisconsin. So I've got my armadillo here. He's looking very, very skinny. And he's standing on his tiptoes. I'm going to make those toes look a little bit better. I'm going to go into it now with, I also like to add, when I go into this, before I watercolor paint it, I like to add lots of little designs along the edge of the border. I do that after I take the tape off. And then, of course, all these little spirals and a moon, I like to add little things like that. So I find that these are just really fun to make. And more like a postcard size. This is a little bit big for a postcard, but I like to work in those dimensions because I find that what do we do with all this art we create? It's really hard to contain it and to save it. And some of you I know are really good about giving lots of art away. I tend to make art and not always want to give it away, or sometimes just forget about giving it away, or think, why would anybody want that little drawing or painting I did? So I end up with a lot of it, and so working small has been really helpful for me, as well as the small journal. Sometimes I find that the sketchbook is not big enough, which you probably find too, for some of the things you want to draw, but then for others, it's perfect, and it helps me contain, for the most part, this is going to be a 6-banded armadillo. It helps me contain my work to one area. Otherwise, my art gets everywhere. And so it's really kind of nice to have it, for the most part, at least during this quarantine art making process, to have the art kind of contained so I can go back a year from now, or 2 months from now, or 10 years from now, and look at the art that we created during this difficult time. Okay, so I've got my armadillo there. Now I'm going to add some color to it, and then off camera I will do the painting part and take off the tape so that you can see my border. So if you have any tape, and if you have any watercolors, give this a try sometime to create that border and see how satisfying it is to peel off that tape and to reveal those really cool borders you created. Okay, so I'm going to grab some random colors here. I'm going to work with greens and blues, I think, today. Now, most armadillos are probably gray and even a little bit brown, but I like to play with color, so this is going to be a blue or turquoise armadillo, and green. I love to mix those colors together. Another animal I thought about drawing for today was the Loch Ness Monster. I know that's not quite an animal, but it could be some prehistoric animal or maybe some mythological animal. I thought that would be very, very fun to create as well. The Loch Ness Monster sticking its head and neck out of the Loch Ness. But I decided to go with the old traditional armadillo for me. Okay, so I'm adding my color. Show you that a little bit closer. Okay, so I really want to get it looking more like this guy. I'm going to play around with just making it a little bit cuter. This one is pretty skinny, but that's okay. I'm going to make it, this guy is a new one. He's a different kind of armadillo. So I'm going to keep playing around with that, playing around with color, playing around with watercolor as well. Use my watercolor brushes to get these watercolor pencils flowing. And then I'm going to play around with adding the marker or the pen on top of that as well. Okay, so please, if you can, send me an image to jennifer.bethel@oakwoodvillage.net, or give me a call if you need anything or just want to talk about your art, 230-4324. And let me know if there's anything that you need, and also if you can send an image. I'd love to see what you've been working on. Maybe one of your favorites, maybe something that you felt you were really invested in, or maybe just you know, whatever images you would like to share. Okay? Thank you so much, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, Thursday, when we're doing self-portraits. I know that's a big challenge, but we're going to do a self-portrait of ourselves, and we're not going to say anything bad about our art. So positive thinking and positive drawing. Okay, have a great day. See you back here tomorrow. Thanks.